Hello, class. I hope everyone is safe and well. Valerie, a member of our discussion presentation team this week, has posted a wonderful discussion on Eleanor Ostrom, which leaves me to talk a little bit about Thorstein Veblen and his writings on machine process. It appears as this course has progressed, the evolution of leadership and its potential ties to yesterday's theories and applications today we are seeing. We witnessed Aristotle's perspective evolve from his teacher Plato, and this week we see Veblen change or evolve, depending on how you view it, from Aristotle. Because Veblen steers away from an Aristotle idea I argue is important for knowledge and application, I will be discussing teleology and will offer a question at the end regarding to its importance or, like Veblen thinks, lack of. We read this week in chapter 2 from Veblen's work titled The Theory of Business Enterprise, where Veblen explains that the machine process is not only the physical appliances created to assist workers. In other words, what he's saying is we don't just create the machines as a relationship to assist a worker in their function. A deeper dive, Veblen suggests, produces a greater, more in-depth meaning, stating in his book, quote, "The machine process means something more comprehensive and less external than a mere aggregate of mechanical appliances for the mediation of human labor." Again, we don't make machines just to help us perform a function in the context of machine process. I would argue that one possible meaning here is that there is not a stagnant relationship, between machine and the worker for production only. Dr. Jacobs stated the conditioning that occurs in the machine process, quote, "But the machine process does condition us. It changes us and we change it," end quote. This statement leads me to possibly Veblen's most notable footprint, and that is, quote, "conspicuous consumption," end quote. The idea that a product purchases, especially by the wealthy class, isn't necessarily for function, but more to signify and display wealth and social status. A little bit of outside research on this idea shows that it is still prevalent in today's world as well. Respected entrepreneur Dan Lok discussed this idea of conspicuous consumption in what is quite frankly an eye-opening 3-minute presentation. I have posted the YouTube link below as, quote, "additional learning material." Before I ask the question to the class, the reasoning behind briefly discussing these two concepts is I think we can look to a current organization and product that is reciprocal machine process of change. We change it, it changes us. And conspicuous consumption would be the product of the iPhone by the company Apple. Dr. Jacob briefly mentioned Apple and the iPhone in the context of dead dates, but my questions to the class do not refer to those dead dates. They're in reference to more of the machine process aspect. Lastly, to tie it all together, Veblen does not include teleology in the theory process. Instead, he applies cumulative causation, which is the manner in which society is organized is accumulation of all the societies before the present one. I would argue there's a combination of both. I pose a choice of questions to the class. My questions to the class are this, and bring real-life example of Apple and the iPhone to initiate, quote, "a today's real-world application of yesterday's theories." First, with regards to machine process and conditional change, do you think the iPhone changes us individually and or as a society? And if so, then what is the reciprocal change? What do we change about the iPhone? Or put in the context of machine symbiosis, does the machine process have a reciprocal dependency between humans and machine? In this case, the iPhone. Please explain. Second, for the example of the iPhone, do you agree, as Veblen does, that the, quote, end game or end purpose of this product in applicableness is okay to be removed from consideration? In other words, why is the iPhone, what is the purpose of the iPhone? Why do we make it? And why or why not is that should be considered in his analysis. And lastly, the machine process sees the process of one maker of a product from beginning to its completion to now an assembly of product. That same product comes from specialized companies. Apple, for example, uses many companies located across the globe to produce one product, the iPhone. Keeping in mind logistics and supply chain and living in a post-pandemic world with a strangled supply chain currently, do you see this, quote, multiple products from multiple places to create one, a weakness in business? Please give explanation. The information I used today was from Module 3 Learning Materials, Chapter 2 of the Theory of Business Enterprise, the lecture slides, and some outside research sources, such as Dan Luck's 3-minute presentation link on What the Rich Buy. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.